dare to declare who you are. It is not far from the shores of silence to the boundaries of speech. Dare to declare who you are. You must not only walk there, you must be prepared to leap. Wow. Today we're talking about our first source of faith, direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. And the path is not long, but the way is deep. You must not only walk there, you must be prepared to leap. Direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder. In many ways, what we are talking about is something that theologians call natural religion, that direct experience. And there are some theologians who oppose natural religion because there is a danger in this. And we'll get to that in a little bit. There is a danger in this. In preparing for this sermon and this service, I went back through some old papers, not that old, and I went to a paper that I wrote for a class in apologetics that I took for my Doctor of Ministry degree. And this is from a book called Found Theology by Ben Quash. He is an English theologian. He works a lot in the arts and theology and the integration of art and theology. And I think he's just fascinating. And I really like this book. The book again is called Found Theology. He's very academic in his writing. And in my paper, I even said he uses a lot of $10 words. So it's not a quick, easy read, but I think it's a good read if you want to go there. And I took this quotation, this chunk out of his book, both for my paper and for this morning. He says, what God's people do is not exploit pre-planned by God, nor is it just unguided wandering. The wandering genuinely involves our own decisions and mistakes. And yet it takes place within what Daniel Hardy calls a divine pre-estimation, which grounds and accommodates the wandering in such a way that the wanderers can come to genuine new insights and move forward. So he's saying, we wander around in God's creation. Ben Quash is a Christian, and he uses a lot of Christian language, and theistic language, but we wander around within a framework set up by God. It's not unguided wandering, but we come to our own decisions and mistakes. We discover this wandering, this way of finding. I think it sums up Quash's apologetic. And through our own wandering, our own finding, we may come to find what is already given. We may come to understand it in new ways. We interact with the world. We find things. We interpret. As St. Hildegard tells us, we can't allow others just to interpret for us. We interact, we find, we interpret, we find the meaning, we make the meaning. And we come to understand it in new ways. So how do we do that? Now, I promised you that we would keep creating these word clouds throughout our series on the 6 sources of faith. So Beth is going to put an Answer Garden link. She did it already in the chat. There's a link to an Answer Garden question. And the question is, what is your spiritual practice? Don't answer in the chat. Click on the word cloud and answer in the word cloud so that on that website, so that we can go and create this word cloud, and that'll be up for a while. There's the link to the answer garden. Oh, I'm sorry, Beth put up a link to the book, which is really cool. But now there's the link to the answer garden. Click on the link to the answer garden and you can answer what your spiritual practice is. How do you link to the holy? How do you find that transcending mystery and wonder? Now, I told you that there are dangers in this. There are. What happens when we do this at our worst, when we're lazy about this? Well, it's been said, if you're praying on something and then you conveniently find that the answer that comes to you is the answer that you've been hoping for all along, that's probably not God answering you. Those of you who were around and remember 1987 might remember bumper stickers that said, "Send Oral to heaven in 87." Because Oral Roberts had gone on TV and the radio saying, "I prayed and God told me if I didn't raise $1 million or $2 million or whatever it was for a new field house or something, God was going to call me to heaven." Yeah, sure. People didn't really believe that God said raise $1 million or I'm going to take your life. People thought that maybe he was using God's name in vain. That's what that commandment means, by the way. We'll get to that later in another week. Natural theology, I came upon this myself, was used by the Nazis to justify twisted interpretations of scripture and killing off 6 million Jews and killing off the Roma people and killing off people with disabilities and everybody they didn't like. And in fact, two well-known theologians, Karl Barth and Reinhold Niebuhr, got into a serious debate over whether natural theology should even be a thing because it could be used so badly. But any theology can be used badly. Any theology can be used badly and to hurt people. So we must always be aware of the dangers of any theology. We can't get lazy with it. But natural theology, things that we find, things that call us to a deeper understanding, and things even when it challenges what we thought we knew. Now that's something. Things that open us up. That's something, that transcending mystery and wonder. And people have found that. People have found that when they have opened themselves up, when we open ourselves up to what's out there. Now, I have experienced personal moments where in my theology and in my interpretation, I have personally felt God's presence with me. Wow. And it's shifted me. Maybe it's been different for you. Probably it's been different for you. It's different for each one of us. I know the things that have worked for me in the past to help me ground myself and find those things. And perhaps you know the things that work for you. But Sarah is going to show us a thing that might be helpful if you haven't found what works for you yet. So I'm going to ask Sarah now to lead us in a meditation.
Thank you, Pastor Madelyn. Good morning, everyone. This morning I'm going to share with you an offering by Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk who established a community called Plum Village in southern France. And he practices these 10 mindful movements every day with his community. So I'm going to lead you through those movements. Many of them can be done from a sitting position. I'm going to lead you from a standing position, which is how he normally does them. But I just invite you to follow along as you are able, and absolutely feel free to modify if necessary. When he presents these movements, Thich Nhat Hanh usually, or he says that he does them so that he can enjoy the movements. He's linking breath with his movement, so I'll lead that for you. For me, I think it just creates a powerful form of body-mind centering and presence. All right. So I'm going to stand back here so you can see my whole body. We're going to start with our hands, palms facing our body. And we're simply going to lift our hands up to about chest level on the inhale and lower them again on the exhale. So nice and slow and steady. We have inhaling up and exhaling down. Smiling on that exhale and inhaling up and exhaling down. 2 more, just like that, smiling on the exhale. Last one. Lovely. Now we're going to shift our palms so they face our body. They're at our sides and they're facing sort of towards one another as if we were going to clap. And we're going to lift our arms this time all the way overhead, or as high as you can take them on the inhale, and lower them on the exhale. Here we go. Inhale and exhale. 3 more, just like that. Inhale, exhale. Continuing to breathe and lift on your own. Remembering to smile on that exhale. Beautiful. All right, moving on. You're going to lift your fingers so they touch your shoulders. And we're going to extend out on the inhale and exhale, touching your fingers to your shoulders again, smiling. 3 more times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. All right. Now we're going to do an arm circle. We're going to start with our palms together. And we're going to lift our arms up on the inhale and open out and down on the exhale, smiling. And reversing that. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Opening, exhale. Reversing, inhale. And exhale. Lovely. Great. Now we're going to take our fingertips and reach down towards the floor or towards your toes. And on the inhale, rising all the way up. And on the exhale, folding back over, smiling. And 3 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale. And exhale. And last one, inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Now we're going to rotate our toes outward, connecting our heels so that we're standing in a slightly outward rotation position. Our hands are going to be on our hips. On the inhale, we're going to lift our heels off the ground. On the exhale, we're simply going to bend our knees. So keeping those heels high and bend your knees down. So the heels stay lifted throughout. Now extend those knees on the inhale. And fold the knees on the exhale. And lengthen through those legs on the inhale. And plie those knees down 2 more times. Lengthening, inhale, exhale, down, and extending up, and bending through those knees. Good, heels back down on the ground, lovely. You can let those feet rotate so that they're naturally there to support you again. Now we're going to bend at the waist so that your head is forward. Keep those hands on your hips. And we're going to circle our head with the inhale on half the circle and the exhale on the other half of the circle. We're going to alternate directions. So let's start to the right. We have inhale, circling the head up. And exhale, circling down. Other way, inhaling up. And down. 2 more, just like that. On your own, inhale. Coming back up to vertical. Lovely. All right, hands can be rest by your sides now. We're going to lift 1 foot off the floor on the inhale. Lengthen the knee, keep that foot stretched out on the exhale. Fold through the leg on the inhale and place that leg down on the exhale. Let's try that together. Inhale. Lengthen the leg, stretching through the toes. Exhale. Inhale, fold the knee. And exhale, place that foot back on the ground. 2 more times, just like that. Inhale. Extend. Exhale. Inhale, fold. And exhale, place that foot. And inhale, lifting your knee. Exhale, straightening. Inhale, folding. Exhale, placing. Lovely. All right, next we are going to draw circles with our leg. And it's a slow circle. So extending one leg out in front. Inhaling, circling halfway, continuing that circle, exhaling around to the back. Now extending to the back. Inhaling, circle to the side, and exhale, round to the front, placing that foot down. Other leg extending forward, inhaling, circling out to the side, and exhaling around to the back. Now stretching to the back, inhale to the side, and exhale, coming around and placing again. 2 more times, one side, one time each leg. So it's lengthening, inhale, circling, and exhale, pausing around to the back. Now extending to the back, inhale, circling to the side, and exhale. And last time, to the front, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Beautiful. All right, we've come to our final 2 movements. And for this, we need a nice wide stance. One foot is stepping diagonally on the diagonal. And we're just simply going to bend that front knee and lift our arm on the inhale. And exhale, coming back down. We'll do that 4 times. Here we go. Inhale. Smiling, exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Last time. Inhale. And exhale. And now switching to the other side so that the other leg is forward and we're bending and lunging on that other side. And here we go. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Smiling. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to put a link into the chat where you can find a YouTube video of Thich Nhat Hanh sharing these mindful movements with you if you are interested in continuing to practice these. You can imagine I had to verbally guide you the whole time so we could stay together, but when he practices it with his community, the movements are known, the technique is known, and they are simply bodies communing in common flow, and it's very powerful. And they were out. The video was taken out in nature, and so another sort of way to think about combining your flow with the flow, the larger flow that is. So. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sarah. I hope that this was useful for you and another way for you to connect with that transcending mystery and wonder. You know, in surveys of UUs about the 6 sources or about personal theologies, routinely most UUs show up as somewhere along the mystical, along this source of faith, that transcending mystery and wonder. And even if that's not your taproot, especially if that's not your taproot, it's good for all of us to get in touch with some sort of practice, with something that will help us to keep us connected. So I'm grateful for Sarah for doing an embodied half of the sermon for us this morning. Because sometimes movement itself is also a sermon. So thank you for that. And namaste.